Hey y'all, how are you guys doing?
Tired.
See y'all.
Hello.
Also, I
Hello.
just can't get over the fact that you guys still have the Saturdays for the boys poster.
Permanent.
Yeah, that's stuck.
It's
The inner
true.
white boy in y'all.
Saturdays are for the boys.
That is true.
This one is for the boys. Bien, cara bien.
How is everyone doing?
I'm doing pretty well. My older sister, unfortunately has COVID. I mean, she's doing all right. My mom went up to see her, to care for her, so that's probably my low of the week. So
Oh no.
yeah.
I'm glad. I hope she's like doing good.
I think she's doing better. I think last night she was having more difficulties than she was today. So yeah, but
Oh, I'm sorry. Cool.
it's all right. Also, another annoying thing is that like I had ordered something for myself, and it was like supposed to ship through USPS, right? And I'm not sure if they just like didn't get my apartment number or they didn't have access to the building. But then they're like, okay, it's ready for pickup at the store. I'm like, that's not what I wanted. And apparently it's over at the Speedway location, which is like a 53-minute walk. I'm like, no. So I'm going to try to contact my dad to see if he can help me or drive me there because I'm like, that's such a long walk.
Oh no.
So,
Well, since you've already started us off cold, what's your high of the week?
oh goodness, my high of the week. I mean, it's been a pretty relaxed week, other than having a pretty busy day on Monday with like a test and a proposal due. I think getting to kind of just hang out with my roommates, getting to catch some games. So it's been fun. So that's yeah. Then I already mentioned Milo, so I will pass it on over to Tara.
Hi. My high of the week is hi. My high of the week is that I hung up my painting from last week's DASC.
Oh my god, it's so cute.
Beautiful.
Thank you. And I don't have a low. The weather's so nice. I'm so happy. It's been a good week.
I love your positivity.
Yeah, and I'll pass it on. Do you want to go, Niley?
Yeah, sure. My high of the week. Oh my goodness. So I watched The Bachelor. So my high of the week is that MJ left. For those of you who don't watch The Bachelor, the season is just a bunch of bullies in one house. That's basically it, and you just want them all to leave. And yeah, and my low of the week is that Katie, like the one I like root for, she left. So I'm just yeah. They're not very dire highs and lows, but they're very entertaining. I love trash TV. um see, Tamara, what are your highs and lows of the week?
My low is I've been nauseous all day. I've been learning the hard way that I can't eat certain sugars without a gallbladder. So I made the mistake of drinking soda and then eating a brownie right after, and I haven't felt good all day. But my high is that I actually bought 2 plants yesterday. So now I'm a plant parent, and I'm very proud of how big they are, though I just bought them. That's pretty much it. I'll popcorn it to Jennifer.
Hi guys. My high of the week was I actually understood what was going on in math class. Woo. But my low is probably I have a math test tomorrow, and I just finished getting out of the math review or like the review for the test, and I kind of got confused again all over again. But we'll see how that goes. I'll pass it to Caroline.
Hello. My low is that 2 exams this week. I'm already done with one, but like the other one's Spanish. But my high is that I'm making beef stew right now. So we have beef stew dinner after DASC, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I think that's also my high, the beef stew. Also the weather slaps. But my low is that I was planning on driving to go see my boyfriend tomorrow, but if the weather's really bad, I'm not gonna be able to do that. So we'll see.
Not Nathan. No. Come on.
No.
Dang.
Everyone's
Yeah.
favorite Nathan.
Indeed. But wait, isn't it supposed to snow? Like I saw like maybe on like the weather app and it's not the fact that it's supposed to snow like either tomorrow or like Monday.
It's gonna snow on Sunday and Monday, and then again next week at the end of the week.
You'll love to see it.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Okay, I think everyone went, right? I think, yes.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's DASC meeting. As you all know, the Super Bowl just happened like literally like 5 days ago or 4 days ago. And they had I every time I watch the Super Bowls, I actually don't watch Super Bowl for the football. I watch it for the ads because that's where it's at. Okay. Yes, there's halftime, but the ads are where it's at. I'm also an advertising major, so all we do in our classes is just analyze ads, and it's so fun. But what did you guys think of the Super Bowl?
In terms of the ads or the Super Bowl itself, because like I don't know, like I was rooting for Kansas City because like Tom Brady left the Patriots, so like I don't know, but overall, no, I liked most of the ads, I'd say.
I did not watch it because I don't care for Tom Brady or the Chiefs. So, didn't the Super Bowl have like the lowest rating since like some year in the 2000s?
Would not surprise me.
Yeah, I think so. It wasn't that great of a game.
Yeah, no, it was definitely not competitive. So,
But I did read about the ads. That was the most interesting part that I want to know.
Yeah. So I'm gonna share my screen. But I just want like, have you all ever seen disability portrayed in ads like ever?
you know, here and there, I would say. I know, like when they can be no, not the best portrayal of disability. So I know it's relatively varied from what I have seen.
I feel like the best example I have was when Microsoft did their adaptive controller, but because that was built like with being accessible to all in mind, like it obviously portrayed disability in the ad. So I think that like doesn't count, but I still thought it was a good ad.
Mm-hmm. So we're actually gonna watch that one for those people who have not seen it. It's like, okay, so we really didn't see disability in advertising not until Q1 of 2019. That was like the first time a lot of brands were like, oh, this group of people exists and we should probably cater to them, or probably and that sounds so bad, but yeah, like before then there were very rare instances. Like I think Apple did one back in 2016, and that was kind of it. Like it's quite rare to see disability portrayed in ads at all because they don't really view disabled people as a market or as a target market. Like they don't view people like us as someone to be sold to. I know this sounds so bad, but that's kind of true. They or like they don't realize like, oh, there's certain things that we could cater to or our products could be better as. But yeah, it's quite sad to be honest.
I also think like the only like maybe, although it seems like the most prominent year for advertising for disability was 2018. Like I would think like advertising for like both the Olympics and Paralympics kind of brought up disability like once every few years there maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think the only time you really see a lot of disability representation is in Paralympics, and that's just because of the nature of like the Paralympics. But yes, so we're gonna just watch a couple ads and then like talk about them because every time I watch these, it's just a very different experience. So this is a Microsoft one that Caroline was saying. Let me see if I can. Oh, I need to make sure that I. See, I don't know if. Okay, so I know sharing video might be a little slow because I think we tried that one time and it was quite slow. So we'll see. But if it doesn't work, I'll just give you all the link. You can watch it on your own, and we'll come back.
My name is Grover. Sean. My name is Ian. I'm Taylor.
My name is Owen, and I am 9.5 years old.
My name is Grover. Sean.
Can y'all hear that, or how is the quality for you guys?
The quality is really, it's pretty high quality. That's my mind.
All right, just making sure.
My name is Ian. I'm Taylor.
My name is Owen, and
Sorry. Let me put the captions on. Wait, do they not have a CC option? Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. Oh, I have a problem. Okay. Sorry, they don't have closed captioning. Wait, no.
People.
Okay, we'll just.
My name is Grover. Sean. My name is Ian. I'm Taylor.
my name is Owen, and I am 9.5 years old.
So Owen was born with a rare genetic disorder called Escobar syndrome.
He's had 33 surgeries to date.
I love video games, my friends, my family, and again video games.
It's his way of interacting with his friends when he can't physically otherwise do it.
What I like about the adaptive controller is now everyone can play. You can just say, all right, that's that button, that's that button, that's that button. Perfect.
One of the biggest fears early on is, how will Owen be viewed by the other kids? He's not different when he plays.
No matter how your body is or how fast you are, you can play. It's a really good thing to have in this world.
Okay. How do y'all feel about that one?
I mean, personally for me, I think I'm echoing.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I don't mean to have to go back and forth between the two, but
Okay, there we go. Are you echoing now?
I don't think so. I think it's because it was connected to your computer audio. I think that's what happens, the echo. But I mean, I enjoyed it in general. I think because it was more focused on the accessibility of the technology, there wasn't as much problematic aspects to trying to portray disability than we kind of usually see in ads. You know, I think that's kind of like less of that inspiration porn kind of concepts that we usually see. So that's kind of what I thought about it.
I think it's a better product than it is an ad for the product, because after I first saw that ad, like I did a lot of research on it and like how adaptive it actually is, and it just kind of shows like the very basic thing. And I think it's like a solid ad, but it's not, it kind of like, it almost lauds Microsoft more than just like the accessibility in general, if that makes sense. But the product itself is actually really cool. Like they put a lot of development time and money into it, knowing that they probably wouldn't get a lot of money back out of it just for the sake of like making their console accessible. And so I thought the product itself was really cool, but like the ad is just, yeah.
So this ad actually won a Cane Lions, which is the Grammy of advertising. Like all the creative advertisers really want this award, and it actually won that year, which is in 2019. We actually watched this ad during my class, and everyone around me was crying. And it just goes to show, I was like, okay, it made me really uncomfortable. I was like, why are you guys crying? And it made me realize like, oh, this ad is it. I know that it's not inspiration porn, but like when the way that people reacted to it made them like, I could tell that because they watched this ad, they already felt like they were 10 times like a better of a person. And that was sort of like what I was getting from my teacher. And I was like, like, I think it's a really good ad in terms of like disability representation. But what I think would feel short is that it's sort of made for like people if it's like, oh, let me help them have a voice in some ways. Like, I don't know, that's just my opinion on it. I know it's like very, but it's just how I feel. And it's kind of like a, but overall, I do love this ad. I just don't think you need to cry about it. Mm, does anyone else have any? Oh, right now we're for people who just came in. We are currently watching ads. So we just watched the Microsoft ad, the We All Win, and oh yes, all right. Does anyone? Okay, I'm gonna show you more ads, and I think you'll see the you'll see my point on the.
People living with disabilities. My advice is to remember that your disability is an honor, not a burden. It is the thing that makes you unique. It's the thing that makes you dope.
It's something that you don't have to hide.
Man singing on stage. Not everybody has the strength to fight with everyday things like getting dressed. It's about making everything easier for everybody. Magnetic clothing buttons.
I can do this.
You just have to rise up.
Skateboarding, surfing.
We just keep going. Like, get up on the board, keep going.
Keep going. And never give up.
Man dancing. Let people know what you dream about, because you never know who could help you in your journey. Girl with disability.
My ability is stronger than my disability.
Boy with CP surfing.
I'm unstoppable.
Tommy Hilfiger Adaptive. Designed with and for people with disabilities.
Okay, how do we feel about that one? I already like how it had like captioning. I didn't even have to I didn't have to change settings. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but I also had audio descriptions, but they like use it quite artistically, which is not normally used.
I mean, I don't know. I think for me, I feel I have like more complicated feelings about this ad than the previous one. I think one of the statements that stands out is like my ability is more than my disability, and I think for us, like, of course, we have like the former Dasher like emphasizing ability over disability, and I mean, I think that's such a like kind of complex situation within the disability community. If we like, you know, depending on if we choose to really embody disability as an identity versus like kind of emphasizing more so like things that we can do or what people think we can do, you know. But that's kind of one of my first initial thoughts after watching it.
Yeah, I agree with you that they were saying like, oh, your disability is what makes you unique. Your disability is not a burden. But like in reality, yes, it's not a burden, but you're gonna have days where it's like it sucks, you know? So it sort of feels a little bit like it feels like inspiration porn. Like because like in reality, you're gonna have like amazing days, but then you're also gonna have like terrible days because we're all just human. And that's like the thing I agree with you, Cole. It does feel a little bit like ableist in the sense that like, oh, my ability, like, oh, you can't say the word disability.
Yeah. Sorry, YB, did you have a question by chance? I noticed you raising your hand. I wasn't quite sure whether you were agreeing with Natalie about something or if you had something else.
I agree with Naili said because it reminds me of like my parents, you know. I do have able parents, and sometimes they do tend to say what the advertisement said, and it's a little weird to describe to them like it sounds a little bit ableist, like and it just reminds me of like the miscommunication I had with my own parents on, you know, the whole like ableist sort of attitude. I mean, that's how I feel about that. I don't know about how you guys feel. It just reminds me of like the whole trauma, I guess.
I totally agree with that. Does anyone else have anything to say about this one?
Well, I will say that like I didn't know that like up until this ad that there was such a thing as like, or I just wasn't really familiar at all with adapted clothing. So I mean, I wish they could have gone a little more into that aspect, because I know like one of the things was like magnetic buttons for a shirt. I mean, I think if they were also trying to focus on that part as much as like kind of like the inspiration point of it all, like I think that would have been more helpful into like showing the accessibility surrounding what they were going for, you know.
I agree with that. Oh, sorry. Continue.
I think that, are we gonna watch the one of like Nike's newest shoe by chance?
We can. I don't think I know that one.
I'll send it. Cole was talking about adaptive clothing, and I think I haven't watched that ad in a while, so I don't remember like exactly how good the ad was, but I think it focused more on just the fact that like it was a shoe that is easy to pull off and on for like all runners. And so it didn't focus on like people with disabilities necessarily. It was just like it depicted all runners like doing stuff, and they're like, you deserve to have a shoe that's like makes your run easy. But they like didn't go too far into like over explaining it. And I think that was like a better representation of adaptive clothing, or just like making the world more accessible in general, than this ad was.
Yep, I totally agree with you. Like when we watched the previous ad with the Microsoft, like if it was way more on the item and how it impacted, like how the item would actually benefit them. But then when we watched the Tommy Hilfiger one, it just focused on like, oh, look how amazing I am. That's how it felt like.
No, it's kind of like, I know for me, like it seems like with a lot of disability advertising, there seems to be always like the need or like the want to kind of pay lip service to the disability community in like some sort of empowering way. I mean, empowering from not, you know, maybe from not the best perspective, instead of like focusing in on like how like, you know, the ways in which they're trying to work with the disability community, you know.
I agree with all of that. You guys can definitely like write your thoughts in the chat if you don't feel like talking. And we will watch the next ad.
People living with disability.
I can experience the beauty of the world without seeing any of it. From the time I was 6 months old, my family knew there was some kind of medical issue, but it wasn't until I was 4 years old that they finally got the diagnosis of a disease called retinitis pigmentosa that basically causes gradual loss of vision. Unfortunately, they can't tell you when that vision loss will happen, how it'll happen. They just know that one day you'll most likely go blind. So all of my ideas of what the world looked like changed from being what it looked like with my eyes and how I experienced it with all of my other senses. I think Dove asked me to try out this body wash because I'm so in tune with my hands and how things feel to me. I really navigate the world by touch. When I pumped it out, I was like, oh, now this is different. The foam was really light, fluffy, weightless, and it feels really moisturizing, not sticky. I've never tried anything like this as a body wash before.
Okay, how did this one make y'all feel?
Well, I appreciate that like they went into kind of like a little bio of the person. I mean, it's kind of an interesting perspective to look. I mean, I know it's gonna. I think it's. I know. I think it's like a kind of a complicated take to kind of have like the idea of surrounding the ad being like focusing in on texture from the perspective of somebody who's blind. I mean, I don't know. It's definitely something I don't think has ever been kind of evaluated in that way in terms of advertising or anything that I've seen in other media.
Yeah, I don't really have problems with the ad. I just don't think it's like an amazing ad. I like how it showed like, oh, this is like the benefit of the product and this is her. It didn't feel too inspirational-y, but I want to show y'all this one that I felt I was reading an article on like disability in advertising, and one of them noted how this was an amazing disability ad, and I want to get y'all's opinion on this one. Let me go to.
A single pair of hands can do a lot. They can paint a fence, build a shelf, install a floor. That's what do. A single pair of hands can do a lot. They can paint a fence, build a shelf, install a floor. That's what doers do. But thousands of hands, tens of thousands, working together, these hands are helping change lives. They're improving homes for veterans across the country, 45,000 of them so far. These hands support job skills training for returning vets, and that helps those veterans provide for their families. These are our hands. They're picking up tools and fixing problems, building communities, giving back. This is what our doers do. And the real power of these hands isn't just that they're doing good. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Okay. How do y'all feel about that one?
I have feelings like I think the fact that it focuses so much on like kind of patting themselves on the back kind of rubs me the wrong way. I mean, I know that's what kind of I gleaned from the ad. There should be so much more focus on that than as opposed to like we're working with disabled veterans, you know.
It was interesting because it wasn't, I feel like it did a good job in that it was not like really in your face, explicit, like these are disabled veterans, like we're just making these like this huge distinction that isn't really necessary. Like I think they did a good job there, but then they like Cole said, just pat themselves on the back, and like it's unnecessary.
It was like they were doing stuff for the veterans and not like with them. Like it was like they were just like showing up at people's houses being like, yo, you can't do this, I'm gonna do it for you. Instead, like it should be a collaboration, more of a thing, and like dictation in that.
Yup, that's how I feel. Like it feels like, oh, I love how they rarely show the disabled people too. Like they focus on like, oh, here's their like, here's their, what is it called? Here's their like prosthetic. Here's their prosthetic leg. Here's this, but you don't even see their like. It's like for the most part, you just see them building, and it feels like more of them being like, oh, look at us saving the world. And I like how they, you know, they weren't like overly like, oh, this person's disabled, but at the same time, you're like, what are y'all doing? So you're just building a house? Is it like an accessible house? Or are you just building a house? Like it, I just was like, huh.
No. Yeah, I know, I don't think like the whole thing sat well with me. I felt like there could have been a little more going in depth into like how they like worked with the Sailor community. Just I don't know, it just
Yeah. It's definitely not one of my favorites. Does anyone have more to say about this one?
I don't know why somebody said it was like top tier disability representation ad. Because that's what you like stick with.
It's so funny. So they were like, "Oh, this is a great disability ad," and they looked at it more from a marketing standpoint. That it had the likability rating for this one was like, a bit higher than the Microsoft ad. Like that had, I was like, "Huh."
what?
That's how that. Yeah, and I mean, I guess to show that like I guess their main goal was to sell, and I guess they sold more.
Yeah,
In
I
that
guess people
sense.
just feel like they're home builders. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like marketers don't necessarily just look at, oh, how is this gonna affect society. They'll look at, oh, is this gonna make me money?
Also, Home Depot is homophobic, so buy from Lowe's.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's
Dang it, Home
they
Depot.
have to do they do the same stuff that like Chick-fil-A gets in trouble for all the time.
Oh no.
Damn it.
And they're not good at making ads. So buy from Lowe's.
Buy from Lowe's.
We're not sponsored by Lowe's.
But buy from Lowe's.
It's better.
All right, I'm going to. Does anyone have more to say about this one? Or like you can just write in the chat. You don't necessarily need to talk or anything.
Also, do you want me to send? I found the site with the Nike ad. It's like 2 minutes long though. Do you want me to send it or like?
Yeah, just put it in the chat.
Sick.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna watch the. Oh, I don't know. I think did anyone see the Toyota ad that came out during the Super Bowl this year?
I think I did when I was watching it. Yes.
No, that one.
Because it's the one like with the Paralympian, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we shall watch it.
Sweet.
Let me hold on. How do I get out of it? Okay. Well, I can. Oh, wait. All right. Let us watch this. Okay.
Mrs. Long?
Yes.
We've found a baby girl for your adoption, but there's some things you need to know. She's in Siberia, and she was born with a rare condition. Her legs will need to be amputated. I know this is difficult to hear. Her life, it won't be easy. Mrs. Long?
It might not be easy, but it'll be amazing. I can't wait to meet her.
We believe there is hope and strength in all of us. Toyota, proud partner of Team USA.
Okay. Thoughts, anyone?
The lady on the phone, she was rubbing me the wrong way. She
That-
sounds like
The adoption agency lady.
the adoption. Yeah, she sounds like a bit of a B word.
No, I think for me, like that was frustrating, especially like that it's sponsored by the Paralympics. I think that really I know for me that kind of sends the wrong message to like everyone who's physically disabled. Like, wow, okay, that's fun to hear. Thanks a lot.
Does Toyota like sponsor the Paralympics?
It's at the end of it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. They're responsible for the Olympics and the Paralympics.
Right.
I mean, I wonder if like that's gonna be like one of the main Paralympic ads then. I mean, I guess that's like the first one to really be shown for this year's Paralympic or this year's games, but I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I think for me, like focusing on the message of like her life is just not gonna be easy, but then like, oh my gosh, she is a Paralympic swimmer. Like, I don't know, just because I think we hear that like so often for like so many people in this community, like everyone else being like, oh well, their life's gonna be so difficult, and like nobody needs to hear that.
I also didn't like the underlying message that like your life is gonna be difficult, but like you could be a Paralympian. Like that's like the thing that you should strive for. Like I don't know, that just felt like an undertone too.
I definitely got you there.
I didn't like how it seemed like the adoption lady was like, so this person like, might need to like have like amputated her legs. It made it sound like, so do you still want her? Like it made it sound like she was a commodity to be like, so she might not have blue eyes, she might not have this. Like she's a human being. It made it sound like she was auctioning her off. Not a fan.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just frustrating all around. And like her mom's like, no, we will love her, don't you worry. Like, my gosh, it's just frustrating.
It's like, good job for doing the bare minimum. Like, we should give her a gold star for like loving her child.
That's the thing with like disability representation in general. They're just like, oh, we did the bare minimum. Oh, we've done everything. And it's crazy for me to think that like, oh, like people don't actually think we deserve the bare minimum. But yeah. A bit of background for the Toyota ad. They actually have a thing. This is called the mobility campaign, and they actually have a lot of like assistive technology, and like their cars are pretty. They have like assistive tech within their cars, and they do have like financial assistance, especially like for like I think if you have like for veterans and stuff like that. So this is like a bit of background on like why Toyota went this route. But yeah, the storyline, it was such a downer.
It really was. I know at least Toyota has some redeemable qualities. Like so, like when I inherit my mom's Camry, I won't feel as badly for supporting a company that made that ad.
I think okay. What do you think they could have done better with this one?
I don't know. I feel like they shouldn't have centered it around, the adoption agency and the mom. I mean, I know like it's kind of traditional cliche for Olympic ads to focus purely on like the bios of its athletes, but I don't know. In this case, like I don't know, just like the way they framed it was just very not good. So I mean, I'm not sure if moving completely to like the athletes' like experiences would have been mildly better, probably, but that's just my thought.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Evie, I agree with you. Evie said like adoption is a whole lots of topics in its own, and with disability, it can it can go off. And then she said, yeah, that's like basically what she said. But yeah, I agree. Like, I feel like they didn't have to go on the adoption route at all, because that just gives a whole message of like, because there's like, oh, if that person is disabled, like they are not worthy of a loving parent or adoption.
I feel like they could have just hyped up the Paralympics.
Yeah.
Like if you just wanted to be like Toyota is sponsoring the Paralympics and maybe it's a family driving an accessible vehicle to the Paralympics and then like it's just hype and like really
Positive.
like
energy.
really exciting, like the same exciting energy of like an ad about the regular Olympics.
Yes.
And then you have like Toyota banners on the side. Boom. Like
For Toyota-thon.
I want to watch the Paralympics. I've like gotten attention to that. Didn't make me like want to watch the Paralympics. It just was like a bummer.
Or Toyota. Where was the car? Did I miss that?
No,
I don't think they showed a car. Okay, my thing is like, what? Why do they put precedence of her being Siberian over her having a disability? Because like, if they didn't have to mention her being Siberian, the whole adoption agency thing like wouldn't have to be a thing. Like that wouldn't have been the main like the center of the commercial. So I'm like,
she was swimming through buildings. Where's my Toyota?
They spent a lot of money on making the water in the house look really real and not enough money getting good actresses.
Where's my Toyota?
Yeah. Even if it wasn't like a really bad depiction of disability, it like wasn't that good of an ad.
All I want to see is the interior of the car, the exterior of the car, the mileage. That's it.
Yep. Like you don't even know what brand it is until the very end, and you're like, "Oh, it's Toyota."
oh my gosh, thank you, Toyota. I didn't need my 1 minute wasted.
But I didn't really like even make the connection. I wasn't like, "Oh, Toyota supports the Paralympics, so like I want to buy a car."
Yeah.
That would just make me want to like watch the Paralympics. But it didn't even do that. It wasn't a hype ad.
Yeah. Also, okay, I don't know. Have you guys heard about the? It was pretty famous, but this like YouTube mom who returned her adopted child because he had like autism. For those of you, it's like that's what the vibes gave me. So for those of you who don't know, there's just like on YouTube, there's like a whole community of these like of these white women taking like people of color children who have disabilities and they're like saving their lives. And it's like super wholesome and sweet. Well, one mom like had him for like I think 2 years.
Yeah,
And
it was
then
2
she
years.
tells the world, oh, we rehomed him. So she basically returned him to somewhere else because she said he was too difficult to like he couldn't adapt to the rest of the family. And like with her bio children. And that was just like everyone was just so pissed at her. It's like, why would you keep a child for 2 years? And like she made videos about this child. And like she hasn't taken them off at all. So like she was in it for the money, but also that's why like this ad made me feel so frustrated because like people with disabilities with adoption, it's like so that's like a whole topic on itself.
Yeah, and I mean like my thing with that mom was like, I think it said like one of the videos analyzing it like she knew like they like had ticked off like we were okay to like we're okay for our child to have disabilities. I'm like, you knew it going in. So I'm just like I was so frustrated with that, but like that's neither here nor there.
And most of the news articles that I've read on the ad itself has been like very it's very positive about the ad. And it's weird because like I'm on like a Facebook link to one of the articles and like people in the comments are like, I love this. This is showing like progress in representing disabilities in media and all that. So yeah.
Niley, I have a question because you're an advertising major.
Yes.
Do you think that there are enough people like in advertising who are disabled to like veto the problematic things? Because like I feel like a lot of these things could be prevented if there was someone in the room who like understood the community and could be like, hey, this is like a little bit problematic.
Nope. There's definitely not. There is definitely not enough just people in the room to talk about like disability representation. And like even for that, there's barely enough just to like talk about like Black issues, let alone disability. Because like, okay, it's sad to say this, but advertising is just like a white man's world. like like a lot of like places are like that, but especially when it comes to advertising, because it's sort of like no one really knows what advertising is, and the majority of the people that are higher up or make decisions, they're just one demographic, and they generally don't have that much diversity. But yeah, I think that's an issue with media in general, though, just like with movies and anything.
So yeah, it's a big issue practically everywhere.
It's also a big issue with Sia.
Oh my goodness. Have y'all heard about Sia's new movie?
Yeah, unfortunately.
I have not.
Mm-hmm.
Bring me up to speed.
All right. Let me tell you all the tea. So Sia, the woman who sings Chandelier, I think she's like won multiple Grammys and stuff. So she wrote a movie called like on about like an autistic girl, and Sia is not part of the disability community at all. Like she isn't autistic herself. The person she casted for the role is Maddie Ziegler, and she is not autistic
Dance
herself.
Moms. No.
And like the way she portrays autism in the whole thing is that since like the girl who is autistic is mute, and she finds her voice through dance and music. And if you watch her interviews, they'll literally she's saying, "Oh, I finally gave a voice to people, to the autistic community." And that's where people were very pissed, because the depiction that she had was just extremely offensive. Like people for like in the autistic community like called her out for it, and then she literally was like, well, you she basically bullied them back on Twitter, and it was just a bad situation all. And Sia actually like showed her movie to like autism groups to like get their feedback, and they all of them said this is a problematic movie. And Sia got butthurt, and I think she like deleted her Twitter or something. Yeah, but it's just a terrible depiction. And it's like all it goes, like people were mad that like why are you writing stories that don't pertain to you, or like it's a very delicate topic, and she didn't really like have anyone in the room who is autistic to like, okay, let's write the story to make it authentic. And then when people got mad at her for not casting someone who is autistic, like an autistic actor, which there are multiple, like there are many autistic actors, okay, out there that are talented and like could fit this role. She said, we did hire someone who is autistic, but we just couldn't work with her. Like the environment was just too hard for her to work with. And I was like, that just means that she didn't make her environment accessible enough, and that she didn't make her like character, and this is such a I'm annoyed, but yeah, that is basically the gist of the Sia movie. The whole autism community hates the.
I just remember like last night I just like reading that article with you about how I'm like just like looking over like all the problematic aspects of it, and just like, well, I have Maddie Ziegler and everything, so I couldn't do this movie without her. I'm like, well, maybe I should have. First of all, like there's no need for Maddie Ziegler to be in this movie. But no, like
you could have.
The only good thing. Oh, sorry. The only good thing about this movie is that everybody came together to bully Sia off of Twitter.
Oh. Yeah, it's a whole, like, it's 2021 and you're like, why is this happening? That's what it feels like.
In my opinion, Jojo Siwa ranks higher than Maddie Ziegler from here on out. So I think that is,
I love her. I love her. Okay. Let's. Does anyone have more thoughts on just like the ads that we watched?
I have a thought on the Sia thing. So, there's a YouTuber, and I forgot what her name, but she's autistic, and she mentioned about how the movie just had so many over sensory, and that caused a lot of, like, for her at least, it was just overwhelming, because of the colors and the way how the camera worked. It wasn't very, I guess, like autistic friendly, is that what you meant? Because it was just over sensory overload, and that was a huge turn off. And another aspect is that Sia actually hired an autistic person to dance, but I think the autistic person told her that it was just very overly sensory overload, and Sia did not like that feedback, so that's why she hired what's her name, Seeger person, because she did not amend to the original autistic dancer. So that was like the whole issue. That's why she chose Ziegler. That's her name, Ziegler. Yeah.
Yeah, Maddie Ziegler.
Yep. That just shows like how inaccessible like her workplace environment would have been, and then also like just the movie itself. But oof. But why don't we watch what Caroline put on? Let me find it.
We're looking at the Dance Moms cast, and honestly,
Maddie Ziegler, not even in my top 5.
why was she at the top of the pyramid every week? What was that about?
I don't know what's her face, the ringleader of
Kathy
Dance Moms.
Lee?
I forget, Kathy Lee. I don't know, like I just don't know like why Maddie was her favorite, but like if we were to analyze Dance Moms, we could be here for like hours. So
I'm calling this as my PowerPoint night presentation.
Oh my
Maddie
gosh.
Ziegler does not deserve to be on top of the pyramid, and she shouldn't be in a Sia movie.
For those who don't,
Last
for
time we
those
did
who-
PowerPoint night, it was Jojo Siwa should be our president, and it would save our country. That was my topic. So
oh my god.
I'm claiming.
Oh, for those who don't know, we are having a PowerPoint night, I think 2 weeks from now. So a PowerPoint night is basically like you can literally talk about anything and it'll be like literally like why Jojo Siwa for president, or like just fun things. I think someone did one like the while ago was like how to eat the rich and pair it with the best wine and cheese, because we're all gonna eat the rich, and it was so funny. But like basically it's just like a fun way that we can just, talk about your passions in life. But we're gonna watch the Nike thing that Caroline put.
I also haven't watched this at all. Good.
Mhm. Wait, where's the video? Is it this?
It should be like midway down.
That
right there.
Excellent. Okay. Wait, is it not? Oh. All right.
I always clock between 200 and 220 kilometers a week. Thursday, we normally have 40 kilometers. And you remember running 40 kilometers in altitude, I mean, downhill and uphill road. It's really hard. It destroys the muscles. I need to get the best shoe, which can help protect me from the impact from the ground, which can actually make me benefit from the all runs. Because when you are too tired, then you cannot actually do the next workout in a required time. I think that this tempo shoe helps you to train very hard.
To me, a measurable benefit to a runner's training means the shoe is going to allow me to achieve 100% of my own success. You can run fast in any shoe. The question is, are you running in a shoe that's eventually going to hinder how fast you can run, or is the shoe actually going to help you run fast?
The tensile fibers inside the Zoom airbag are what makes it really special. Without those fibers, if you put pressure on one side of the airbag, all of the air would rush to the other side. But since those tensile fibers connect the top and the bottom of the airbag, when you put pressure on one side of the airbag, it holds that internal pressure and gives you that energy back. The plate is important because it helps provide some propulsion. It also helps smoothen out the transition between the foam and the airbag. Zoom X is the lightest and most responsive foam that we have. However, because this is a training shoe and we want it to last, we put React foam in the heel. And so this combination of durability and energy return is what makes this shoe super special.
I've
one of the beautiful things that we are doing is we're really aiming for universal design. The Zoom Tempo Next Percent Flies has a classical heel that allows the user to insert the foot by pushing down on the heel and sliding their foot in, similar to a slide or a mule. As we continue to push the limits of not only making athletes better, we also need to push the limits in terms of allowing all athletes to wear our product.
I think the Tempo gives you a little bit of taste that is sometimes just reserved for the ultra elite runner. But we tested this shoe on multiple continents and with so many different types of runners.
If you can take the learnings of our race day shoes and if you can put them in a training day shoe, well, all bets are off and what barriers get broken, because you have a limited amount of space to get better on race day. But if you extend that out to the 4-month buildup, you're now looking at hundreds and hundreds of miles of improvement that can fall into a 26.2 mile day. Giddy up.
All right.
Sorry, that ad was so long. It wasn't really an ad, it was more of a description, but like, I just like that it was like, here's our shoe, we like it, we had universal design in mind, here's a bunch of runners, and it's not just, also look, like, disabled people are using our shoes and we're going to put a ton of focus on it. It's just like, we believe universal design is important. Here's our shoes. And they have a bunch of different, I looked into like the designs, and they also have ones that like zip and ones that like Velcro. It's not just the step in the back one. So
I'd love to see it.
Swag. I like the direction that they're going towards. I also just really like Nike because we have like a family friend that isn't on their marketing team, but
sweatshops.
Nice. Oh, Jess. Oh no, but like definitely with that heel idea, like that would be something that would be so helpful for me, because wearing like orthotic or brace like on my right foot, like it's so difficult to actually get my my full foot to get into my shoes. Like that's one of the things like I hate about shoe shopping is like that aspect of it. And then but no, I'm glad to see that they're putting more accessible designing into their shoes.
I liked how I didn't overly was like, this is a disabled person. It felt like when you make something with universal design in mind, it's literally everyone can use it. And it felt very like chill. Like I really enjoyed that aspect.
I will say one thing that I noticed about advertising that I thought was really positive was I don't know if anyone else picked up on this, but I know that last year when it was like back to school season, there were loads of like ads, like I know Target is the one that I specifically remembered, where they just kind of like showed loads of kids getting back to school stuff, and they just like really casually slipped in some like disabled representation and like didn't really mention it, but like showed that it was still like a good to have that kind of representation, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, I find that the best representation is when they never like they don't make a big deal about it, but they also it's like it makes sense why someone like it makes sense, and it's like chill, which I enjoy. Which like they're normalizing disability, which is like what we want.
Yeah, I remember in the Target one, the kid is in a wheelchair and he's wearing I remember this because he's wearing a dragon costume, and I thought the costume was so fucking sick. I was like, where can I get that?
It was a sick costume. I definitely remember that commercial. Was like, dang.
Yeah, right?
Sick costume, bro. No, but I definitely agree with you, Natalie. I think like just more casual, like insertion of disabled people within ads, as opposed to like such overt statements that are more geared towards the the rest of society, or more so like the able-bodied community. And I feel like that's where I'm at in terms of like where I'd like to see disabled representation go within advertising.
I feel like you could have fixed, I think that the Microsoft commercial from the very beginning was still a solid commercial and like solid ad. and like one of the best ones. But I feel like you could have fixed it by just like having a bunch of kids just like playing games together, and like everyone can play games no matter what, and not just like keep like driving the message like verbally. I think if you just like had people just like chilling playing games,
that doing it like that way is what normalizes it more of it being like not a big deal.
And the Toyota one, if you just
Especially
had like
for kids.
if you just had like Paralympians, Olympians, we're hyping everyone up, like we're hyped about sports, Toyota's sponsoring it all.
I feel like it's especially important in apps tailored for children as well, because I think that really sets the whole groundwork for changing how culture perceives disability and sees it as like, it stops children from seeing it as an othering factor, which I think is really important.
Yeah, I agree with all of you guys. It's especially the othering factor, because like when they make it like everyone's playing and everyone's just doing this, it doesn't feel like you're that different. You're just like, okay, which I really enjoy.
Definitely.
Also, this was something I was going to ask earlier. I haven't talked to Emmeline. For those of you who don't know Emmeline, she was our president last year, and she was a Macomb student. I don't remember what she majored in. Miley, do you know?
Marketing. This is like the
She's
this is what me and Emmeline will talk about.
She's a good snake of Macombs.
And she works at Unilever now. Or is she still at Unilever?
I think so.
The Dove commercial. Dove is a Unilever product. And so I thought
Yes,
it is really interesting. I would have liked to hear what Emmeline had to say.
Honestly, yeah.
Because
we can bring her.
She was saying that like Unilever is trying to be like more accessible in their products and like have more voices heard, but like I feel like I don't want to like speak for Emily, but I feel like I would know like the reaction that she would have and be like, that was kind of unnecessary. So I'm wondering like
which one?
The Dove one, because Dove's a Unilever product.
I'm not to play devil's advocate, but I didn't have a huge issue with the Dove one just because a lot of ads do stuff where they're like, hi, I'm a single mom and I like using this product and like because it's great for my lifestyle. And I thought it kind of was normalizing to see it from that perspective of someone who had a disability. Who am I? Just a humble monkey major. I don't
I didn't really have an issue with the Dove one, but I just thought it was boring. Like,
yeah, no, I agree with that.
Like it doesn't, yeah. Like I'm not gonna remember it. I'll be like, eh.
That might mean it's good for disability representation. It's just not a good ad.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking because it's like again, it's like those ads where it's just like mums using a product because like they have messy kids or something. They're like, hi, my name's Susan and I hate my children and I drink wine and I need to clean surfaces. It's like the same.
They got crumbs all over the goddamn floor.
And I've had a busy work day. I do this job and it's a good fun time. I felt like it had the exact same vibe, very neutral. Fine.
Yeah. But I really like the Nike one and the Microsoft one. Just because like they were interesting to watch. They weren't just like, I'm disabled. Here you go.
The Microsoft one should have been more apparent that we can all be cracked at Fortnite.
Does anyone have any other thoughts? Just some like ads and disability in ads in general.
YB said maybe the ads can focus on packaging in terms of accessibility rather than auto bio cliche.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I agree with that. Unilever just started doing this, I think last year, because Emmeline was telling us this, but they just started putting alt text in their image description, like which is basically an image description when you use a screen reader in their websites and stuff. And like I don't know, like that's literally like like they could have done that like way before.
Definitely.
This is also, I guess, a little bit on that. I liked the adaptive controller from Microsoft. Like I did a lot of research on it because I just thought it was like a really cool product, even though the ad was adequate. But all of the boxing is easy to open too. Like I would recommend like watching an unboxing video of it because like it's easy to open. Like anyone could open it. Like it's meant to be like a full experience all the way through for anyone to be able to
Also,
use.
I feel like when you market something like that, like just because it's accessible doesn't mean it's only for people who need things that are accessible. Like it could, like some people might prefer playing video games on that kind of controller. Just because it is made for the intention of being adaptive doesn't mean that it's only exclusively for people who need that in order to play, like period. Because then they could have also made more money. I just think it would have been cooler to just like market it as like, hey, it's an alternative to like a regular controller. Because that looks sick. We're looking at a picture of it. It looks sick.
It's Natalie, do you want me to send you the link to what it looks like?
You can just share your screen. I'll make you co-host.
Okay, cool. So not only it looks kind of, the reason I was so confused and the reason I did so much research is that it looks like something that would not be useful to play games because it's like a big rectangle with two like buttons, probably like an A button, a B button, and like a D-pad. And I was like, how are you gonna do something? Hang on, let me see if
oh yeah, you can share your screen now.
So can y'all see?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So like I was like, how are you gonna play games with like an A button, a B button, a D-pad? Like you could play like Mario on that pretty easy, but like how are you gonna play like Fortnite, Call of Duty, or something like that? So up here, can y'all see my cursor move?
Yes.
Yep. Up here, there's like basically like almost like aux ports that your headphones go in, and you can plug in like buttons and levers and like foot pedals and like anything you want to make the controller like work for however setup you want. So instead of like,
are you in incognito mode?
What?
Oh no, are you in incognito mode? It looks like
I might. Oh no, it's just dark mode.
Oh, I was like, what are you hiding?
It's just like dark mode. So there's like all of these different pedals, like light push buttons and like soft buttons, so you can use like your head or your feet or like whatever works best for you. And then Microsoft also like gave other companies the ability and sometimes the funding to develop like more controls to be able to be used. And like I don't think, like Jess was saying, like they could have marketed this to a lot more people, but they probably knew that they weren't going to make a lot of money on this. And so they've like put a lot of time and resources into developing something that they like know they're probably not going to get a lot of money off of. And so I thought like it was a neat product as a whole, even if like just from the basic ad, it doesn't seem like that neat.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Anyway, that's my defense of.
Come on, there you go.
Sorry, I'm 21 years old.
I'm just a humble monkey
I don't know how to use a
major.
computer. Online school has been really hard.
All right, everyone, it is 8:05, so I know like if you guys need to leave. For those of you who are new, I am Niley. I am the DASC president. Yeah, we do have meetings every Wednesday at 7, and we will be having a PowerPoint party. Be ready for that.
2 weeks from now then, right? On the 24th, I was thinking, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So yes.
We hold meetings every week.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But the PowerPoint part specifically is 2 weeks from now.
And then we have like accessible game nights. Last week we had a wine and paint night. Well, wine. It was not wine. But
it could be if you really want it to be.
That sounds so fun. Do we bring our own PowerPoint presentation or?
Yeah.
Yes. Google,
Maybe like a
Google
small thing.
Slides or PowerPoint. Yes.
Yeah, and it's any topic you want, but for anyone here, you don't have to prepare one if you don't want to, if it's like overwhelming.
I'm a clown. Like it's not gonna be high tech, high research.
Okay, give me a break. Yours, like, I remember having a PowerPoint party with you, and your like thing was so detailed and like so many different effects, and like you said, you got it done in like 45 minutes.
Yeah, mine was problematic. Okay.
Well, yes. Well, that is yes, but
We have fun.
We're a fun group. But yeah, but it's nice to see everyone. It's nice to see new faces as well. Jennifer, Ashley. It's nice seeing you again, Evie. And yes. All right, so if y'all need to go, y'all can go.
Nice
It was
meeting
nice
all of
seeing you
y'all.
all. I'll see you all next week.
Everyone.
Bye.
Everyone.
nice
Bye.
seeing you guys. Bye, y'all.
Bye.